Yes. Please tell me about your girl.
Oh, it's just it's the best kind of friend to have. Huh. She doesn't say anything. Yeah. Hello, girl. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is YKF Sundays. It's 2025, 27th of April. We are here with Mistress Claudia, and we're going to talk about dealing with toxic people in the BDSM community and also Babygirl. But Mistress Claudia, everything we're going to talk about is consensual. We're adults. This is a lifestyle. And don't judge. It's not cool. Not fun. That's why you're alone and unhappy, because you're a judgy asshole. Let's get to it. Mistress Claudia, where are you? Please tell us about what's going on.
I just finished up a session, so I'm still here. So
After a session, there's a come down.
yeah.
Aftercare. What do dominatrixes do for a come down?
I ate a Rice Krispie treat. That's what I did.
All right. All right. So what was the session like?
It was okay. The client was not feeling, actually they came in super high, so I'm like burning incense because I could smell the weed on them, and they kind of they were out of it. So when someone has mind altering substances, I try and just do something super laid back so it's enjoyable for them, So I just dressed him up and let him lay down, and just put my stockings all over his face and that kind of stuff. It was very peaceful, very peaceful.
Oh, it sounds it. Do you
Yeah.
think that with marijuana, the legalization of marijuana, the smell gets everywhere? I'm for cannabis, 100%. But how do you deal with the smell?
I'm not
In
a
a
fan
session.
of the smell. I don't care in any way, shape, or form if someone wants to do something to themselves or whatever, if it's not harming anyone. But I don't like the smell. Not my thing.
So I wanted to talk about something before, and there's this movie that I saw called Babygirl. I don't know if anyone has seen this. It's brand new. It's brand new on Max. It came out in theaters a little while ago, and it stars Nicole Kidman, Antonio Banderas. Nicole Kidman is a CEO. She has a lot of power. She has people underneath her. Has kids. Very successful playwright and producer, Broadway producer. Got everything. But yet, this 20-something-year-old young man who works for her starts a sexual relationship and starts dominating her, starts telling her what to do. It reminds me of other movies like 9.5 Weeks, Secretary, even 50 Shades of Grey, where women are the submissive ones in the movies. Do you ever watch movies like this, Claudia? And what do you think of that? As a dominatrix, I mean, you are a human being. You believe in balance in life, right? It's not always about femdom, of course. So, what are your opinions of these movies?
I think that a lot of people are really into that power exchange. Even they don't know it, I guess you could say. I think that's why a lot of people that I meet with are extremely powerful, successful, dominant individuals in their real lives. And it's definitely a super erotic. It's definitely going to be a movie that people are going to want to watch. I would say. I haven't watched it yet. You were the one who made it known to me, so I'll probably check it out. I like the dynamic in the movie that, you know, she's an older, powerful woman and he's a young man, and he's the one who's the dominant one. That's kind of a neat twist. I like it.
There were something without, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's funny that that there's a selfishness aspect to it. This woman is going to lose everything. She's got kids. She's got, you know, a company which she could all destroy for a sexual thrill. You know what I mean? And we have a guest. Mistress Sophie is here, all the way from the United Kingdom. How are you, Mistress Sophie?
Okay, how are you?
I am well. I am well. Mistress Sophie, this is Mistress Claudia from Tempe, Arizona. Mistress Claudia, this is Mistress Sophie. She dominatrix. You also you drive a truck as well.
I do,
And
yeah, I do.
tell us about your ventures, about being in the UK. Yeah, this is. Have you seen the movie Babygirl?
I'm gonna sound a bit pessimistic. No, I haven't actually. Sorry.
Okay. Well, we're talking about welcome back to the show, Mistress Sophie. Anybody, please look out for the next author circle. We're planning on having Mistress Sophie on. Tell us about her experience dealing with publishers in the kink community. But let's get down to the business, dealing with toxic people in the BDSM community. I love people. I do. I don't want to be a toxic person. So I don't want to be a negative show. I don't want to call out people and say this person does that. So we're not calling out any names. I'm not messing with anyone's money. You know what I mean? Me, I'm not. I don't know about you guys, you two. But first, let me ask you this. First of all, am I a toxic person in the kink community?
No.
Did you just ask if you were a toxic person?
I did.
No, absolutely
Okay.
not.
So what would make, all right, with that being said, thank you, both of you, very, very much. I didn't just say that just to, you know, make myself feel better, but I wanted to define what a toxic person is, right? What kind of toxic person? When you think of a toxic person in the BDSM community, I think of a couple things: liars, catfishers, people who time wasters, people who are generally predators and who want to hurt people and take advantage of people generally. And that comes with everything. It comes with just the saying certain things, certain ways to, you know, being in a certain place at a certain time. And then how do we deal with them? So, Sestra comes in and says, "You are not toxic." Thank you, Sestra. We got to deal. You're not toxic. I sense the genuine love and passion in both of you. But you got to deal with these toxic people. So without naming any names, please tell us some stories or tell us how you overcome and deal with people who are toxic people. Everybody knows somebody who's got kicked out of a dungeon. Right? Or some got blocked on FetLife or something. You know what I mean? So please, Mistress Claudia, how do you deal with toxic people in the BDSM community?
That's a great topic. I guess each situation would be different. You know, if it's like you said, something on FetLife where someone, you know, sends to your inbox, you know, explicit or photos or things that were unsolicited, I kind of just ignore it, or, you know, say that's not something I'm into. But if it's something that's more personal and they're, you know, messing with you, that's the type of person that I just don't want in my life. So I basically exit with a peaceful strategy, because sometimes you don't know if you're dealing with someone who's mentally stable. You know, I don't deal with the catty, malicious nonsense. I'm not that type of person. I, you know, if someone comes to me, I'd rather, if I'm able to assist or help, I will. But I don't like liars either. I don't like people that will tell someone one thing and then tell someone something else. And, you know, that devious manipulation type of nonsense. I don't like that.
I cannot agree with you more. Seriously. And it's every community has it. It doesn't matter if it's a kink community or if it's a corporate
Yeah.
office. Or it's a family. You have catty people, you have people who don't want you to succeed. And I'll tell you right there's someone right now who does not want me to succeed and they don't want you to succeed. You know, someone is watching this. You're upset. There's someone out there who probably doesn't, you know, doesn't matter. Fuck them. Fuck them. You keep on living. That's the thing you got to do. I'm fucking still living. I have air going through my lungs right now. Right? And stop me. Toxic people, you just have to keep going. The meaning of life. You know what I mean? Mistress Sophie, how do you deal with toxic people in the BDSM community?
Yeah, I sort of deal with people when I have sort of like when I'm doing like session bookings and things like that. I tend to have what I like to call the 10 email system, which is basically where if somebody hasn't booked a session within 10 emails, they're like instantly blocked, because it's sort of like a way of just blocking people from just continuous like unsolicited chats and things. I sort of did break this rule a little bit with somebody quite recently, because this person was autistic like myself, and they just did not know boundaries, unfortunately. And I had to be a bit hard with them, and I had to say, look, you know, unless you're booking a session with me, then please go away. You know, it wasn't me trying to be rude or disrespectful, but I physically had to draw that line. I had to have that boundary.
I
And
don't mean to be rude or disrespectful, but what specific boundary did they push?
They basically they didn't book the email within the 10 messages that I just stated.
Yeah.
And obviously, again, I sort of had a feeling they were straying into the time waster territory. But it was only when they sort of announced to me and they said, look, you know, I'm autistic, I ask a lot of questions. I sat there thinking, okay, I'm going to give this person the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to extend it. And in the end, this person did come for a session, but they just seemed to be under the impression, I know this is going to sound bizarre, bearing in mind they'd only seen me once, just once. And they just automatically assumed that they were my collared slave after one session. And that was the boundary that they crossed with me. And I thought, no.
You know, it's funny. I get every day, I get messages from people thinking I'm a woman and they want to be my slave, which is funny. So let's talk about red flags, right? Let's talk about red flags. Miztress Claudia, as a dominatrix, you've seen so many people, you've dealt with time wasting. But then there's the time wasters, but then there are the toxic people that you know that maybe they have money, maybe they know somebody, you're gonna see them again, or you're gonna hear about them again in that circle. What are some red flags to pick up on this that say like, oh my god, this person may be toxic?
Is this a person that I've met with in the past, or?
Oh yeah, yes, or
Okay.
or new someone that you know, anybody, hypothetically.
So I'm the type of person when I session, I don't, it's not per se like by the clock. So, but someone who doesn't respect my time, that's a big red flag for me. Someone who will session with me and then send me passive aggressive emails, you know, such as, oh, I want to do this, but I know that's something you wouldn't do, you know, things that are, I don't want people like that in my life. And that includes, you know, for me, when I meet with people, I develop a relationship. And a lot of my people that I meet with are, I care about them, and I don't treat them with disrespect per se. You know, to me, like, time is valuable. I'm always on time. I communicate well. You know, if someone just doesn't show up, which this is the first year ever in 15 years that I had a no show, and that was that. Or someone who gives you a hassle about, now I take deposits because of that. Someone who's constantly beating around the bush and won't send a deposit, but they want to continue this. You kind of learn the vibe, like Mistress Sophie said, you learn the vibe of when someone's a time waster. It's almost like an intuition, and you're like, yeah, okay, bye-bye, whatever, click. You kind of learn over time who's sincere and who is just wasting your time.
But okay, what about outside the actual dom sub or client relationship? What about within the community itself? There are munches, there are dungeons, there are parties we got to go to. We got to see other people, you know, that we just don't. It's not like we don't like them, but we can't. We know that like if we're around, it's almost like an addict. If I'm around someone who drinks a lot, who's always drinking, I can't be around them because they're always drinking. I'm an ex-alcoholic, right? I don't, you know. Toxicity is almost the same way. That action, that fire, that chaos. People love the chaos. They ride the chaos. So when you see somebody at a party, at a munch or something like that, what are some social things that they do that are red flags? They're like, for example, I'll say one. If I'm at a dungeon party, if someone I don't know offers me cocaine, that's a red flag, right? Someone I've never met before.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that's the fast. I mean, here in the UK, if somebody did that to me, that's the fastest way to jail.
You know, like it's what I'm saying. Not that it happens or anything like that. I'm just saying if that something like that would happen, it does happen. You know it happens. But if it had like that's a red flag. So what are some of the red flags socially in the BDSM community of toxic people?
Someone who always has something negative to say about other people in the community. That's like, for me, anyone who doesn't lift and as a community, you should be a community, and that's a big toxic red flag, is when someone's always talking about other people, or, oh, did you hear about that? It's like, no, I don't want to get involved in that type of behavior. I feel that we all should enlighten each other and be there for each other. That's what a community does, not divide it and say something to one person and then, oh, did you hear this? So and so said it. It's like that type of behavior I do not want in my life.
It's funny that you say that, because I consciously do that. I consciously try to like say the right thing. I have a sharp sense of humor, right? I could say the meanest jokes, funny jokes, but they could be very mean spirited. I don't say them, and I could say, and it's only like in the kink community. I don't want to. Oh, I'm not a bad person, so I don't say them, But like the kink community is something I want to be good. I want people to have a good time, to be happy, even if they're beating each other and causing pain. I want them to consensually have a good time, you know what I mean? So you're right. The people who automatically shoot someone down, say someone's ugly, someone's stupid, someone's lame, someone's not cool, someone doesn't have money, someone's not doing it for you, all that shit, or spreading lies.
I think the other thing is too, is when when you're meeting people at a munch or you're meeting people in any type of group setting, you need to show respect to everyone. And
Yes.
especially people you don't know. So for example, I don't go, storming in and act like I'm the center of attention, or act like I can talk down to people, or act like I'm superior to others. As a community, especially when you're dealing with people you don't really know, you don't just assume that you can treat them a certain way. And I think sometimes I've seen that happen.
Mistress Sophie, do you have
Yeah,
anything to add?
I've sort of seen similar things myself. I've sort of been in environments whereby I will have one dom, for all intents and purposes, slagging off another one, and it just kills the vibe stone dead. And I sit there thinking, no, I mean, yeah, you can't argue one professional up against another. There's got to be some boundaries. And yeah, I mean, thankfully I've never had anyone talk dirty about myself, but I know that chances are, I've heard some really, really high profile DOMs here in the UK sort of almost slagging each other off. And I sit there thinking, no, just leave each other alone, just walk in the opposite directions. Don't involve me in stuff like that, because the same attitude I have to kink is the same attitude I have to politics. Here in the UK, there's an old saying that we have, and I always say that when it comes to politics, it's always between me and the ballot box. I don't share it with anyone, and I feel the same way about kink. I feel that if one person's view is different to another person's view, then let bygones be bygones, and let's all get along.
And I would like to say this. First of all, Sestra says said something wonderful. If I'm not gonna have fun because of a toxic person, then I don't go. Sestra, I have a lot of fun with you. Sestra's great. Sestra is part of Mistress Manor. Artist, true artist. You go to yes, that's what I'm saying. Sestra, love you. But one thing I do want to say, seriously, look at the data. Listen to the old shows. I don't talk shit. I don't talk shit about other people in the community. I haven't said shit about you. I haven't taken money from you. I haven't done anything. So if anything, I've done nothing but promote and try to just show the love and the spirit and try to like share that feeling. That's it. You know, other people talk. Other people talk shit. Other podcasts look at their data. They talk shit about me and they talk shit about you, and then they're not you. I mean, you in general, like the podcast. Like, so put out something positive. That's what I want to do. Enough of my soapbox. Stan Vladimir says, I personally think for new people visiting you for a session should be just chatting, exploring personal interests to see if you could make a good connection and discuss future sessions. Ah, yes. Oh, yes. Very good. All right. So let's talk about staying away. Testra brought up a great comment. If it's not going to be fun, if a toxic person is there, I don't go. Should that stop you from going to a very good event or a very good party?
Honestly, no, because in a sense, it's almost the same as bullying, isn't it? If you allow someone to stop you from doing something, they've won. So just go anyway, and ignore them, because it shows you as the stronger person. If you get my drift.
Oh yeah, definitely. Mistress Claudia, what about staying away? Like you run in circles. I'm sure there's been like some sub that is just drove you nuts and not worth your time, and now you see them serving someone else, wasting their time. Or if you see some dom, or some other dominatrix who is toxic, who treated someone else bad, or something like that. You see them at a party, you see them there. Do you stay away from the party? And if you're at the party, how do you stay away from them?
No, I well, I would say that I'm not very social, but when I do go to gatherings, normally I volunteer, whether it be just as an observer or I just no I when someone's super toxic like that, I feel that the vibe spreads quickly, and in the end they're the ones that get shunned,
Yes.
because we as a community, especially where I am, um, we all get along. We all, if there's a new dom in town or whatever, and she wants to say, hey, have you seen this person before, or hey, we're all there for each other, and usually the bad apple gets found quickly, and we just all focus on positive. We focus on everyone growing and everyone getting better, and a support system. And I don't usually, if someone is toxic, it gets discovered quickly. So that's how I feel.
Let me ask you this, and this is a touchy question for a lot of people. Can people redeem themselves? Before you answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
People fuck up hard. People change. Can they redeem themselves? And will you accept their change? And how do you accept their change? If you do.
Yeah.
Mr. Sophie was quick to answer. Please. Can people redeem themselves? How do you deal with that?
I think I always say that, half the process of redeeming yourself is actually admitting what you've done wrong in the first place. And so I always find that the way that the redeeming process can start is when that person says to me, okay, yeah, I messed up. Sorry, my bad. And then I then say to them, okay, how did you mess up? And they'll say, okay, I did ABC. So I can then say, okay, well, let's quote XYZ and put it back together again. And then that is a way. I mean, I don't shun people on the first rung. I am very much a second chance person. I'm not somebody that's, I do have a bit of a weakness, and that is I do like to see the good in people. And yeah, sometimes it's gone in my favor, sometimes it hasn't. But 99 times out of 100, it has really helped. Because I've come across people in my life, and some of the friendships that I've actually had have actually started in arguments. I know this sounds bizarre, but I've ended up having arguments with those people, and then all of a sudden, 3-4 years later, we're still best of friends. Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
The best friendships I've had started in arguments. Interesting. Mistress Claudia, can people redeem themselves?
I believe absolutely, if they sincerely acknowledge their wrongdoings. They have to be sincere. And, with any relationship, there has to be a trust. And if there is no trust, then there is no relationship. And life is short, time is precious. There's a lot of good people out there. And then there's people that make mistakes, and then there's others that are just devious, and they're all around us.
I was watching Jackie Brown, and there's a scene. Samuel L. Jackson is talking to Robert De Niro, and his girlfriend basically just slept with Robert De Niro. Samuel Jackson's girlfriend just slept with Robert De Niro, and Samuel Jackson's cool with it. He's like, I know her. Robert De Niro is telling Samuel Jackson, I don't know why you keep people like this around. I don't know why you keep her around. And he just keeps on saying, I know her. I know her. She like he accepts her for who she is, that she knows that she's going to sleep with anybody who pops into her. You know what I mean? Yeah. What about some people do accept, and then some people just don't accept anymore?
I think the most public example of that that's been remembered very recently is when Will Smith went up on stage and punched Chris Rock in the face.
Oh, slap.
Yeah, so I thought that's definitely a momentous moment for people who don't forgive each other.
Well, Chris Rock did a whole special after that, and a couple comedians, even the Wayans brothers one of the Wayans brothers did a whole special, and the whole thing is just about that one slap. That one slap made a bunch of comedians a lot of money. So Chris Rock, Will Smith. Miss So Peaceful Observer says, evening all. One thing I would like to say before I want to talk to Mrs. Claudia about something, but Babygirl, I went into Babygirl as a snob, honestly. And I want to say the story. I want to tell the story. So to not judge, people shouldn't judge. When I was promoting this book, The Coolest Way to Kill Yourself, there was a romance author. I don't even give him credit, but he did a horrible book called Babygirl. It was something to make fun of. It's just and all these people who love BDSM thought that was horrible, and the people who didn't know was reading this book thought it was the real thing. So I had this preconceived notion of the term Babygirl. I gave it a chance. The movie's a good movie. It's an A24 movie. That means it's got that edge to it, which is great. Nicole Kidman is amazing. There's some interesting aspects about BDSM culture in this movie. Consent. The whole thing is about consent, and it's expressed, the words consent. And he also says something I thought was very interesting. Antonio Banderas, the husband who's being cheated on, was living in a construct, an old construct of what sexuality is. I just thought that was interesting. People should check it out. Now, Mistress Claudia, you're in the dungeon. I'm going to take Mistress Sophie out of there. Can you just show us a little bit about this amazing dungeon that you're in?
I'm just in one of my rooms with my little friends. These are the best friends to have. They stay nice and quiet. But yeah, it's can you see? This is the naughty corner. So I'm just in here, just hanging out, saying hi to you before I go home. So
thank you very much. But now, you know what we have to do. Are you time? We have one trivia question every. We do this all the time. See if you can get this right. Are you ready, Mr. Sophie? All right. What 1966 song by the Velvet Underground, often considered a poetic exploration of BDSM, draws its titles and themes from Leopold von Sacher's Masoch novella? Is it A, Shiny Boots of Leather, B, Venus and Furs, C, I'll Be Your Mirror, or D, Sunday Morning?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a bit of a shot in the dark. I'm gonna say C. I'm gonna say I'll Be Your Mirror.
Mistress Claudia?
I don't know this, but I'm gonna guess A.
A, Shiny Boots of Leather. Oh, you're both wrong. You're both wrong. Shiny Boots of Leather is a line in the song. And, you said I'll Be Your Mirror. That's a different Velvet Underground song. The correct song is Venus and Furs. And both of you are wrong. So that means you get you get a fart storm over your
Ew.
house. So it's just a big cloud. It's just a fart storm. Sorry, guys. Yeah. I don't know. You answer right next time. You're getting taken
I'll put the
Teleporter.
clothes back on.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a great week. It's going to be a great week. Is any please let's promote everybody. Mistress Sophie, how can people get in touch with you? Um, you know, talk with you, book sessions, not waste your time.
Yeah, well, my main contact is through my website. I'm at www.mistresssophieofhertfordshire.co.uk. My Twitter handle is at m_Sophie93. My FetLife is Mistress Sophie 93. Capital M, capital S, numbers 93 at the end. And yes, please, when messaging me for a session, don't make it long-winded chats. Make sure you read my website through fully, because you may not know this, but I actually have word traps on my website to find out who's actually read my website properly. It's a very, very clever tactic.
Oh,
Because what I do is in my booking section, I have a line, and I always look for people who put that one line in the booking email, because I know that that person's then read it.
Mrs. Claudia, how can people get in touch with you?
Usually just by email or through my website, or they can text message my cell phone, which is it's Miztress with a Z. It's Miztress Claudia.com or mistressclaudia@gmail.com, or my cell phone is 774-269-4757, and I only respond to text message. I do not answer the phone.
And everybody, I'd like just to say, please read a book. When I say be cool, be kind, and keep an open mind, I mean it. Get 15% off all inventory at lockedinlust.com with offer code YKF. I'm back in chastity now. Oh God, I was domed. You'd be proud of me, Mrs. Claudia. Next, I want to do a whole episode of how when subs become doms and doms become subs.
Oh, that's a good topic.
We need balance in life, right?
Yeah, I have a good story about that.
All right, stay tuned. Definitely, this is gonna be great. But I do want to say that when dealing with toxic people in the BDSM community, I try not to be toxic. I'm sure I've said some stuff. I'm sure I talk a lot. My attention spans all over the place. I'm hard to follow sometimes, like a bull in a china shop. Sometimes I know. I'm maturing. I'm changing. I'm becoming a better man because of guests like Miss Claudia and Mistress Sophie. Seriously, I'm a better man because of you. The thing is, people do change. I'm always around. I'm in the wind. I'm be around. I'm here to hear the story too. So people change. People get better. But the thing is you have to live in the now, and that means you have to be kind now, be cool now, and keep an open mind now. Love you all. It's gonna be a great week. Be cool, be kind, keep an open mind. Take care. All right.